There's a number, an exact number. At that number, the dividends you get every month beat your paycheck. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to hit it. This is the part nobody talks about. There are two types of people in this world. One type trades hours for dollars. The other type teaches dollars to work while they sleep. $10,000 invested the right way pays you about $400 a year, $41 a month. $41 hitting your account while you sleep. Now, I know what you're thinking. $41, that's a dinner. You've been working 10, 20, maybe 30 years. You've maxed out your 401k. You've paid off the debt, and you still feel stuck. So here's the one question that matters. The exact number, the amount you need in your investment account to make your dividends replace your paycheck. What is it? It's not $1 million. That's not the answer. The answer is much more specific, and it's tied to something the IRS is quietly doing that most Americans never see. I'll show you the number, but to understand it, we have to walk through 7 milestones. Let's go back to the start. You're 26 years old. You've got $10,000 in your account. What do most people do? Buy a new car, buy a new phone, buy a vacation, or leave it sitting in a savings account, earning 0.5% a year, while inflation eats 3%. Here's what nobody points out. Your money in that savings account is disappearing, quietly. No warning, no notification. That's milestone 0. Most Americans live there their entire lives. Think of it like this. In 1994, a financial planner named William Bengen sat down with a spreadsheet and nearly 7 decades of market data. He asked a simple question. How much can a retiree withdraw each year and never run out of money? His answer was published in the Journal of Financial Planning, October 1994. The 4% rule. The rule says this: if your portfolio is invested right, you can withdraw 4% a year and your money lasts 30 years. Flip it. You can also receive about 4% a year in dividends from a quality portfolio. $10,000 times 4%? $400 a year. That's the first $400 you didn't trade your hours for. Here's a simple way to understand it. A small snowball rolling downhill. First spin, it gathers a little snow. Second spin, more. By the 100th spin, it's not small anymore. There's a button in your brokerage app. It says Reinvest Dividends. Click it. Forget it. Let the snowball work. Stop for a second. If $400 a year can become $40,000 a year just through patience, why does school never teach you this? Why do most Americans still think they have to work until 65? And the real number, what you actually need to make dividends replace your paycheck, is it really $1 million? The answer is going to surprise you. Let's start answering. Next milestone. You're 29. You've got $50,000 in your portfolio. Apply the 4% rule. $2,000 a year. That's your electric bill for the whole year. Internet. A weekend in Miami with money left over. Not you paying, your shares paying. 3 years go by. You're 32. $100,000. 6 figures. The number you used to dream about in high school. Pay attention to this number. $100,000 times 4%? $4,000 a year. That's groceries for the whole year for one person. Bread, eggs, chicken, coffee, 12 months. Not you paying, your shares paying. But here's the trap most people fall into at this milestone. This is the part nobody talks about. There's a type of investor who, once their portfolio hits $100,000, starts chasing yield. They find a stock that pays monthly dividends with a 12% annual yield. 12%. On $100,000, that's $12,000. They think they've hacked the system. They haven't. What they found is called a yield trap. The stock pays 12% because the price already collapsed 40%. The dividend looks huge because the company is bleeding. 6 months later, Dividend gets cut in half. The price keeps falling another 30%. They lose more than they ever made. Here's a simple rule. If the yield looks too good to be true, it is. 12% isn't opportunity. 12% is a warning. Think of it like this. A diversified dividend ETF, owning hundreds of companies at once, typically pays around 3% to 4%. Boring. Slow. It works. Patient 4% outlasts TREP 12% every time. Next milestone. You're 35. $250,000 in the portfolio. $10,000 a year. Your car for the whole year. Insurance, gas. Every mile you drive, your shares are paying for it. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm 45. I'm already too late. Look, you're not late. A 45-year-old with $200,000 in a 401k switching to this strategy with steady contributions can reach $500,000 in about 12 years. You haven't lost, you just haven't started. 4 milestones, 4 answers. That's the first layer. But there's a deeper layer, the one most financial advisors won't tell you about. Why? That's next. Okay, let's recap. Milestone 1. $10,000. Pays you $400. Milestone 4. $250,000. Pays you $10,000. That's the pattern. The more patient you are, the more your shares pay you. Not complicated. But the real question hasn't been answered. Why? Why does school never teach you this pattern? Why does the US government, quietly, pay people who take this path more than people who work for a paycheck? This is where it gets interesting. This is where most finance channels won't go. Milestone 5. You're 38. $500,000. $20,000 a year. Rent in most of America. Or a paid-off mortgage in the rest. Groceries. Power. Internet. The basic shape of a life. Back in 1994, William Bengen called this the safe withdrawal rate. He ran simulations on US market data starting in 1926. The 4% rule has survived every bear market, every crisis. But here's the thing, and here's what most people never realize. The next milestone, the $1 million milestone, isn't important because of the $1 million number. It's important for a completely different reason. This is what most financial advisors will not tell you. You're 41. $1 million. $1 million times 4%? $40,000 a year. An average American salary, replaced forever. You sit down at the kitchen table on a Tuesday night. You open a tax calculator. You type in $40,000, qualified dividends, single filer, tax year 2026. You hit enter. The screen shows a number. 0. You look it up. Real. Pay attention to this number. In 2026, a single filer with taxable income under $49,450 pays 0% federal tax on qualified dividends. Under IRS Revenue Procedure 2025-32. Not $1. $40,000 in dividends falls inside that zone. All of it is yours. You might be sitting there wondering, why 0%? Go back to 2003. The US Congress passed a law called the Jobs and Growth Tax Relief Reconciliation Act. Before 2003, dividends were taxed as ordinary income, up to 39.6%. After 2003, a new category got created, qualified dividends, taxed at just 0%, 15%, or 20%, depending on income. Think of it like this. 2 escalators going up. One, your paycheck, gets taxed at every step. The other, qualified dividends under the threshold, doesn't get taxed at all. Same dollar. 2 completely different fates. Your coworker, earning the same $40,000 from a paycheck, loses roughly a quarter to a third before it hits their account. Federal, state, FICA, Medicare, depending on bracket and where you live. Your dividends under the threshold? Not a penny gets taken. This isn't a secret. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a law Congress passed openly in 2003. It's right on the IRS website. It just isn't taught. This is the part nobody talks about. Here's the connection nobody points out. The 4% rule, born in 1994. The 0% qualified dividend tier, born in 2003. Two separate pieces until somebody puts them next to each other. The exact number you need isn't $1 million. It's the number where dividends from a diversified portfolio just barely cover your life and stay just low enough to land in that 0% tax zone. For a single filer in 2026, that's somewhere around 1 million to 1.2 million, depending on your spending. That's the number. But there's another number, a bigger one, that Americans themselves are saying they need. Let's see what they're saying. Here's the picture as of mid-2026. Milestone 7. You're 44. $1.5 million. $60,000 a year, without selling a single share. The principal keeps growing. The dividends keep paying. That's the average annual spending for Americans 65 and older, according to BLS data from 2024. One morning, coffee. You read a headline. Northwestern Mutual's 2026 Planning and Progress Study, released April 2026. Pay attention to this number. The average American now says they need $1.46 million to retire comfortably, up 15% from the year before. You read the number twice. You look at your portfolio at Milestone 7. You already have more. But here's the part where we need to be honest. $1.5 million in 2046 doesn't have the same purchasing power as $1.5 million today. Inflation eats away. That's why your target number should be a range, not a point. Mark's target isn't exactly $1 million. The target is dividends that cover your life, regardless of what inflation is doing to the dollar. Reasonable people disagree about whether you should depend entirely on dividends. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm showing you the math, the history, the law. You don't need permission. You need understanding. The rest is your decision. So back to the original question. The exact number you need to make dividends replace your paycheck isn't theoretical. It's a real number for a real person. For you. The next question isn't, what is the number? The next question is, where are you on the road to it? So what does this mean for you? Let's get real. I'm talking to someone who's been working 10, 20, maybe 30 years. Who's maxed out their 401k, who's paid off the debt, and still feels stuck. Here are 3 scenarios. One of them is yours. Scenario 1. You're 45. You've got $200,000 in your 401k. You read stories about 26-year-olds starting with $10,000, and it stings. Look, you're not late. You just haven't seen the math. 200,000, with the right strategy and steady contributions, can pass the $500,000 mark in about 12 years. And it doesn't stop there. Your snowball isn't small. It's already rolling. Scenario 2. Yesterday, you saw a coworker lease a new car. They showed it off at lunch. You smiled. You said congratulations. And inside, you felt something. Not envy. Something quieter. Like walking slowly down a road you're not sure is right. That's the sign. 2 types of people. You're starting to figure out which side you're on. Scenario 3. You're thinking, I'm too late. I'm 50. I'm 55. The tax system doesn't care how old you are. The 4% rule doesn't care. The IRS doesn't care. The door is open. It'll still be open next year. But every year you wait, your snowball starts smaller. One thing to be clear about, I'm not a financial advisor. This video isn't investment advice. This is math, history, and law laid next to each other. Here's exactly what's happening to your money. Ownership, not consumption. Diversified funds, not yield chasing. Final question. Which side do you choose? Okay, let's wrap this up. You just walked through a question most Americans never sit down and ask. Here are 3 things to take with you. 1. The exact number you need isn't $1 million, isn't $1.46 million. It's the number where your dividends just barely cover your life and stay low enough to land in the 0% qualified dividend zone. 2. The U.S. tax system, through Bengen's 1994 rule and the JGTRRA law of 2003, quietly created a path that favors owners over wage earners. This isn't a secret. It just isn't taught. 3. Patient 4% yield outlasts trapped 12% yield every single time. So what does this mean for you? You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have started at 26. You just need to decide. Are you going to keep trading hours for dollars, or are you going to start teaching money to work for you? 2 types of people. One trades hours. The other teaches money. You choose. If this video helped, you know what to do. Like, subscribe if you want to see more like this. I'm Mark. Watch your wallet.